Good evening. We're back with more Marvel Champions, continuing our Star-Lord Hero Spotlight, Part 2. The second time we've done a Hero Spotlight for Star-Lord in a relatively short amount of time, as I found a much better deck for him, and we're going to see how far this deck can go. Having gotten Ronan down on Expert, we're going to try out Magneto and Venom Goblin and see how that goes. And if he's capable of those three, the three hardest in the game, then he's likely capable of any scenario in the game on expert difficulty and a good number of them on heroic 1 difficulty. Here we go. Magneto's a tough one to burst down. He's got a lot of tools in his kit that make it difficult to OTK him, which is typically what we want to do with Star-Lord. There's a few cards that can come out of the deck early where it's just a loss, so I did struggle with Magneto. Of the big three villains, I probably struggled with Magneto the most. So we're going to get out White Tiger right away. White Tiger is nearly always a high priority play. And we'll get out Gamora. Almost always prioritizing the card draw first. And get out the element gun. Since I don't have Star-Lord's helmet, I don't really want to take on any extra encounter cards unless it's really worth it. Typically, if I don't have Star-Lord's helmet, I won't use his hero ability, except maybe for like a Nick Fury or occasionally for a White Tiger, but not that often. So Magneto takes out White Tiger, and we got one card from his when revealed and one card for expert difficulty. So we have to exhaust the upgrades, that's not that bad, and then add 4 to the side scheme Sabotage Master Mold due to Master Plan. So we get out Nick Fury here and draw 3. Almost always draw 3 unless it's a dire emergency. And thinking probably play Kalu and then use Assess the Situation for +1 hand size. So clear Sabotage Master Mold and move on to Orbital Decay. With Magneto, these side schemes need to be cleared before he can be damaged down to 0. Each clear of the side scheme enables you to get an extra 6 wounds on him, so I usually just clear all of the side schemes before damaging Magneto at all. So I play 2 Assess the Situations here so I can draw a hand size up to 7 for the next round. The more I play Assess the Situation, the more I like it. I think that is a very good card, especially for a combo deck like Star-Lord. So we got 3 magnet counters, so we got to discard until we find a magnetic card, and that's going to be Magneto's helmet. Or no, Magneto's armor. So he can't be stunned. And then we got seized, so that's going to be 6 cards from the deck face down under there. And that's going to be another encounter card. And it's Shadow of the Past, so that's going to be a loss. It's too early for, at least I think, it's possible we can deal with that. Mr. Knife. That's tough to get early. Star-Lord's Nemesis is up there with the worst Nemesis in the game. What's the plural of Nemesis? Nemesises? Nemesi? Probably Nemesises. So we're grabbing a resource card after having played Beast. And I initially thought I'll play Maria Hill, but then I noticed I had 3 allies, so gotta play Gamora first and discard until we find an event, or use Gamora first. And I'm gonna cycle with Strength in Numbers. Play Maria Hill and draw a card. And I'm going to play regroup over rapid response here and then fire the element gun as well. At Mr. Knife. That's going to be one retaliate. Then we use Star-Lord to take out Mr. Knife. And then we can use Beast and Maria Hill to clear budding crime syndicate. So maybe we don't lose. Maybe it's not as bad as I thought. No helmet yet though, so we're still kind of in rough shape. But we got to regroup out so we can get Maria Hill back to hand. Though I just noticed the boost, and that means Asteroid M should have cycled through. And we've already cleared Sabotage Master Mold though, so we don't have to do the bring a Sentinel into play. And encounter card is Unicion, which is pretty tough, but they're a tougher acolyte, so it's not too bad. Get out Maria Hill again and draw a card. You'll notice that I am not really using Sliding Shot or Daring Escape ever until I'm ready to go for the kill. I typically don't like to take extra encounter cards in until I'm going for an OTK. The one exception being I'll sometimes use it for Element Gun. I'll sometimes use it for Nick Fury or White Tiger. But other than that, if I don't have Star-Lord's helmet out, I don't take extra encounter cards with Star-Lord's ability. If I do have Star-Lord's helmet out, then I'll be much more free with the ability because you get extra card draw to compensate you for the additional encounter cards. So there I obviously could have used Daring Escape, but I chose not to. And I'm going to use Kalu here to remove the toughness. And then I'm opting to use Star-Lord's discount here to play a Sliding Shot. And I don't know if that was correct or not. It's risky, but like I said, I do have Star-Lord's helmet out, so I'll be much more free with Star-Lord's hero power once I have that helmet out and can get extra card draw. Got a magnetic card coming in. Wrapped in Metal. That's one of the cards that makes this quest tough for Star-Lord because it really puts a damper on his OTK abilities. Master of Magnetism means another activation for Magneto. He gets the top magnetic card from the discard pile as a boost card. It's going to exhaust my identity. And the attack is going to go on Beast. So it's not going that well. Exhaust each upgrade, get +1 magnetic counter. We've got Star-Lord's helmet, but Wrapped in Metal is going to be a problem because I can't remove it without being able to exhaust Star-Lord. Gonna use Star-Lord's hero power here and get out Captain Marvel, so I get 3 damage. I don't get to stun though because of Magneto's armor. Gonna play a second element gun. And thwart for 2 with Captain Marvel. And then draw 6. Thanks to Star-Lord's helmet, we get +1. So we're gonna face tank the attack. Really only get to do that once per game with Star-Lord. And we've got a magnetic card, which deals a little damage but nothing serious. That magnetic card can kill a whole board of allies from time to time. And we got one of Star-Lord's cards and Magneto's helmet, which isn't that big of a deal. He can't be confused. We don't have any way to confuse him anyway. Gives him +1 thwart. Probably not something we want to spend 3 resources to remove. We're going to get out Nick Fury and draw 3. It's going to be an encounter card. We're starting to get into OTK range. But I do have to deal with the Wrapped in Metal. That's going to take a sliding shot to do that. So I'm going to play Beast with Star-Lord's discount. Now that I have the helmet, I'm feeling free to use the discount pretty much every turn. And thinking about what to do here. So we get rid of Wrapped in Metal. Gonna play Rapid Response. So probably use Captain Marvel and then she'll be defeated and we can bring her back with Rapid Response. Well, could do it next round. That'd be just fine. And keep the threat under control. And draw up to 7. So if I survive this round, I think I'll be in pretty decent shape. Maybe not OTK, depends on what comes off the encounter deck. So I could Rapid Response Nick Fury back, and a lot of the time I'll do that, but Captain Marvel's really high value as well. And I do opt to Rapid Response Nick Fury back in and draw 3. He still leaves at the end of the round, but we just convert Rapid Response into a draw 3 card. And we got an Acolyte enemy and an advance. So that's likely to advance the quest. Yeah, it's for 6, so moves us into phase 3. Got a huge hand though. 10 cards in hand. I'm checking to see how many sliding shots are in the discard pile, because if I get a sliding shot here, I could legitimately be looking at a win this round, but there's 16 cards in the deck. 2 of them are sliding shot. I can draw 4. 2 with Ironheart, 1 with Ironheart, 1 with Maria Hill, and 2 with Daring Escape. Don't know if that's enough though, because there's only 2 sliding shots, so the odds wouldn't be in my favor that I'm going to get one. So we go ahead and use Captain Marvel. She'll be defeated. And we'll bring her back with Rapid Response. Discard 4 and see if we get a lightning resource. We do get 2, but I can't stun Magneto. I do mark a stun, but then I remember and remove it. So we'll push Magneto into phase 3 here, which means 1 encounter card. So if I had a sliding shot, I could legitimately be thinking about killing him this round, with 2 Daring Escapes in hand, and Captain Marvel on the board, and an element gun. I think I could probably kill him if I drew a sliding shot, but I only have a couple of chances at it, and there's 12 cards in the deck. But I'm thinking about it, and then eventually I decide to just play it safe and go for the kill next round. So I draw a card here, and I think I actually want to keep the second Daring Escape just in case the card that I draw is sliding shot. So I pay for it with Ironheart instead. And it is not a sliding shot. And we'll get out Regroup, and we'll keep the 2 Daring Escapes for next round. Well, I could use one to take out Senyaka. That'll get a stun on me, and then I'll exhaust Star-Lord to get rid of it. Make sure the main quest is clear of threat. Drop Magneto to 16. And then we'll draw 5. So, here's where I realize he shouldn't be stunned. And he's going to get his normal attack in. I'm considering whether I want to have Captain Marvel come back to hand with regroup, but I decide on Maria Hill. Exhaust each ally you control. So they're not actually going to be usable. And we get a metal shards, which kills the allies anyway. And drops the counters by 3. Got a Sentinel, we got Banishment, so that exhausts Peter Quill to remove it from the game. Probably still looking at a kill, except that we don't have Sliding Shot. So, gonna play White Tiger. Well, actually I start thinking about it. I start thinking about all the things I need to calculate. There's 6 cards in hand. Oh no, I do have Sliding Shot in hand. So I'm just thinking about how to kill Magneto. Got to deal 5 to the Sentinel and then 16 to Magneto to get him this round. So I'm just doing a little math, thinking about what's the best thing to do. Do I want to use Nova Prime to get rid of the M-type Sentinel? Do I want to just use like a White Tiger attack and an Element Gun? What's the best thing to do here? I've got 1 Daring Escape. A lot of calculation, so I reconsider on the White Tiger. Gonna flip to hero. Now I think maybe it's Nova Prime with the Star-Lord discount and 2 resources. Now I'm reconsidering that because I see that I can't play White Tiger and Sliding Shot, so I think, no, it's not Nova Prime. Let's just go ahead and use Star-Lord's discount for White Tiger. Draw 2 cards. And then we'll use Element Gun and a White Tiger attack to take out that M-type Sentinel instead of Nova Prime. I mark that off in just a moment. Daring Escape. So I drew another Daring Escape with White Tiger, and that's gonna guarantee the win. So in just a sec, I remember, oh yeah, I got to account for the Sentinel, M-type Sentinel in the way, with one of the Element Guns and White Tiger. So there's the rewind, the Element Gun and the White Tiger. And then the second Element Gun fires at Magneto, and we had 1 Star-Lord attack in there after he readied up, so that drops him down to 11. And then we could just Sliding Shot from there, plus the Daring Escape, and he's going to be dead. I don't know why I drew 2 cards there, but it didn't matter. We had... Why did I draw 2 at the end? Should have drawn 1 for the... Oh, I forgot to draw a card for the first escape. First Daring Escape, I never drew a card. So, not that it would matter because the encounter cards that we had on the table were more than enough. All we need was 3. We ended up with 4, I think. But anyway, Actually only needed 2 because I had an additional Star-Lord attack, so 9 plus 2 would be 11, so yeah. I had like 4 damage of overkill, plus more resources to play probably Kalu if I needed him. Anyway, that's a victory on Magneto. I did try a lot of attempts on this one though. And you need some luck with Star-Lord against Magneto. It was not easy, but he is definitely capable of downing Magneto on Expert, along with Ronan on Expert from the last video. So now we're going to move on and take on Venom Goblin on Expert difficulty. Here we go. Now Venom Goblin seems to be a pretty good matchup for Star-Lord because Venom Goblin, when he shifts into Phase 3, brings a lot of encounter cards into play, and that assists with the OTK rather nicely. Brings 3 encounter cards into play for the phase for his stage 3, and that just makes sliding shot very high value. So we can hopefully down Venom Goblin before the threat on the 3 main schemes becomes an issue. So I mulligan 4, get the helmet and the opening hand. That's very good. And we'll grab the element gun. And probably Gamora is a higher priority play than Rocket. So there's Gamora. Gonna get out the element gun. And we'll just leave Star-Lord's helmet and the sidelines for now. So we discard to find an event with Gamora. And I'm thinking about whether I want to thwart with Star-Lord or whether I'm fine with the Upper Manhattan being the main scheme that activates. After Venom Goblin activates, he activates the special on the main scheme with the lowest threat. So use assess the situation to get out Star-Lord's helmet, and that means we're opening the game with 2 extra card draw because of those 2 encounter cards from Venom Goblin. So Venom Goblin is going to activate, and after he activates, we'll move the main glider or the glider to the main scheme with the least threat and resolve its special. So he's just going to attack, and Star-Lord's going to take the attack to the face. And then glider counter on the main scheme, and we got to discard a card from hand. I think that's the least of them, of the main schemes. The other one's one of the others is indirect damage, one of the others is additional threat. I think with a deck that generates a lot of resources, discarding a card is fine. So we got to resolve the special ability again, and that card. We got We Are One, we got Smoke Bombs. I think I may have forgotten an additional encounter card. I don't know that there is an encounter card that would have turned this game around at this point, but I'm not sure. Unless I missed something, I think I did forget an encounter card. I forgot that the first one surged. So I'm kind of torn about playing 2 element guns. A lot of the time I don't think it's very good. I don't think you get use out of both of them. I really have no problem with using an element gun to do something else, including using an element gun to fire an element gun. So all I really need here is a sliding shot, and I'm gonna win like next round. I got 2 sliding shots, so yeah, this is gonna dumpster the Venom Goblin. So he gets an attack on White Tiger, who's gonna come back to hand. Move the glider counter to the main scheme with the most threat, add 1 threat. White Tiger back to hand with regroup, and then after Venom Goblin activates, we move the counter to the lowest threat quest and discard a card. And have to discard one event with the lowest cost. So we got Master Plan, that means discarding to find a side scheme. Remote Navigation finds Advanced Glider, which is a really nasty card generally, but I think I'm going to win next turn, so it doesn't really matter at this point. We didn't get any of the really nasty minions from the deck, the encounter deck. That's good. So yeah, taking indirect damage there, and I initially thought about having Gamora take it if it would return it to the hand with regroup, but it's not an attack, so it wouldn't do that. So I just take the indirect damage to the face, and we're gonna see about winning the game this round. I initially thought about playing Captain Marvel. Then we just use Star-Lord and Gamora to handle the pushing the Venom Goblin into phase 3. And that's going to bring in 3 encounter cards. We're discarding to find an event with Gamora's attack. It's a 3rd sliding shot. But I can just go ahead and fire the element gun to remove the toughness, and then use 1 sliding shot with Star-Lord's hero power and 1 sliding shot with resources. And I'm just gonna straight up dumpster the boss. I don't know why I'm doing math. All we need is 9 power from each card. Haven't used Star-Lord's hero ability yet, so yeah, there's no scenario in which this is not lethal. So there's Star-Lord's discount card for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I have the resources to pay for a second. So that's going to be a retaliate. Maybe that's what I was adding up. And then that just ends the fight. Did I remember the retaliate damage when I used the element gun? Let me check. Yeah, I had 3 health at the beginning of the turn, so I did remember it. Yep, so I think earlier in the game, in stage 2, I think I did forget an encounter card. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and check, but still wanted to show this game because it showcases the power of the deck. So I don't think there are any encounter cards that could have caused the loss, but this still showcases what the deck can do very well. And for me, whether Star-Lord can beat Venom Goblin on Expert or not is not in question. This was my first attempt on Venom Goblin. And it took a lot of attempts on Magneto. That one was in question. But Venom Goblin, no, not really, because he brings 3 encounter cards into play when he enters stage 3. And then Star-Lord just annihilates him with a sliding shot. So it is the most powerful heroes My opinion before spotlighting Star-Lord for this part 2 with this new deck was that Spider-Ham is the best hero in the game. Star-Lord is also capable of taking on all the content in the game, on at least expert difficulty. I thought it was just Spider-Ham, really, who could do it consistently, but Star-Lord's added to the list now. And in each case, both Star-Lord and Spider-Ham utilize the enemy's power against them. Star-Lord, the more encounter cards the enemy brings into play, at the beginning of Stage 3 at least, the better he can do. Spider-Ham, the more little tiny damages he takes, the better he can do because he generates resources. So each of them escalates their play as the boss escalates his play. And that's why they're so strong on high difficulties. Star-Lord is an S+ tier hero, capable of taking on all of the content in the game. And we're not done yet seeing what he can do. We're going to move on in this video and see Mysterio on Heroic 1 difficulty. And after this one, we'll see what else he can do for future videos, or we may move on to another hero, I'm not sure. I think it's certainly been demonstrated how good Star-Lord can be. And interestingly enough, in some other tier lists, and some other articles and decks about Star-Lord, I don't think it's necessarily the consensus that Star-Lord is an S+ or a Spider-Ham tier hero in solo play, but I believe this demonstrates that he is. How many heroes are capable of reliably taking on Ronin, Magneto, and Venom Goblin on expert difficulty, along with the other Heroic 1 quests that I've taken on? And it's because this deck is really strong and Star-Lord is really strong, but he does have a high learning curve. So if you play him with the wrong deck, I could definitely see how you would think he was not very good. But he is. He's really, really strong for solo play. For multiplayer, he may not be. He may be an annoyance to his teammates in multiplayer. But for solo play, he's a really, really good hero. So, taking on Mysterio, and we got Deepest Fears. We're taking on Mysterio on Heroic 1 difficulty. Mysterio's a villain that likes to bring in additional encounter cards at somewhat random times, but Star-Lord thrives on additional encounter cards, and so if they come in at the right time, he could just straight up put Mysterio in the dumpster like with Venom Goblin. We got Deja Vu, take 1 damage or place 1 threat. I'm going to take 1 damage and that card gets shuffled back into our deck. So Mysterio likes to shuffle encounter cards into the player deck, and then when they come up, either by being discarded or by being drawn, you draw 1 card and then you deal it to yourself as a face down encounter card. So you can get a lot of them stacking up in the wrong situation, but Star-Lord likes that. So the illusion debuff that's on Star-Lord prevents him from using his hero power for a bit, until we can get rid of it. Gotta go to Alter Ego and discard an identity-specific card to get rid of it. Get rid of the Shifting Apparition, which is gonna put another encounter card in the deck. Though I don't know if I remembered to do that or not. Or did I take out the apparition with proper damage? I don't think I did. I think it was Gamora that did it. So that illusion card is going to go to the bottom of the deck. Anytime you have a boost card that's an illusion card, it should go to the bottom of the deck. We got Deja Vu again for 1 damage, and that goes back into the deck. Fool's Paradise, a 6 threat side scheme. And a buff for Mysterio, +3 attack. Almost always going to be using allies to chump blocks. We don't necessarily care about plus attack buffs. So we're gonna pay for Nick Fury the old-fashioned way with 4 resources. Get out Kalu as well. So now we got the 6th threat needed to get rid of Fool's Paradise. Go look for an event. It's gonna be Daring Escape. Now an encounter card gets shuffled to the top. Gonna play Rapid Response. Use everybody to take out Fool's Paradise. And I'm gonna choose not to use Gamora's response there. So as I draw 6, I have to deal myself these 2 encounter cards, plus an additional one for getting decked. So that boost card makes you draw 3 and then discard 3 randomly. And we're going to Rapid Response Nick Fury back in and draw 3. Go for a massive hand. And if we get the right cards, we could think about OTKing the boss from 14 health in stage 2. But these are not the right cards, and anyway, these encounter cards are going to get revealed before we'd have a chance to do that. So this is going to turn Kalu against us. Then we got Deja Vu. Evil Doppelganger. Deja Vu again. Just pings your health away. And Banishment, so that's going to flip Star-Lord to Alter Ego. And while we're in Alter Ego, we can go ahead and take out that illusion. It discards a random hero-specific card. So if I play Star-Lord's helmet first, and there will only be 1 card left in my hand that's identity-specific, that'll be Nova Prime. So we'll go ahead and get rid of the Induced Panic with Nova Prime discard. So we're using Star-Lord's discount here to play White Tiger. Now that I got the helmet out, I'm using it more liberally, as is often the case. Nearly always the case, unless it's an emergency. So use Gamora, draw an event with her ability. I'll use White Tiger and the Element Gun to take out the evil Doppelganger. And use Nick Fury to thwart for 2 most likely. Gonna play Beast for 4. And then get a regroup. A thwart for 2 and deal 2 damage. So I get to draw up to 7 since I've got 2 encounter cards against me now. Attack will go on Nick Fury. Not an illusion card, doesn't go in the deck. Nick Fury back to hand with regroup. And we got 3 encounter cards coming in. Delusion of Collusion. Means allies can't ready. And Shifting Apparition. So I've got 2 sliding shots, and I'm actually thinking about whether or not I can OTK from this position. So we'll get out Nick Fury again. It'll draw 3. So we got 2 sliding shots in hand, so I'm thinking 1 to get us into phase 3, and 1 to end the game. Use Strengthen Numbers. No. Yeah, we use strength in numbers. I don't know why I added a damage to White Tiger. I shouldn't have, because... So that was a mistake that cost me 2 damage, because I didn't use White Tiger for anything. I just exhausted it with strength in numbers. You don't have to deal a damage for that. So I should have then used... I guess it doesn't matter, though. If I was going to play Captain Marvel, I would have retired White Tiger anyway, maybe. I think it was a mistake to use strength in numbers at all. I should have just done 2 damage with White Tiger. Instead, I accidentally discarded White Tiger for nothing. But just thinking and calculating. Going to ready up Star-Lord with the Daring Escape. Draw a card. So I want to deal the 10 damage and then try to end it. So we're using Star-Lord's discount and 2 resources to get Captain Marvel in. So the text of the... This is an interesting situation because these encounter cards are getting discarded for Captain Marvel's discard, and the text of the main scheme says when you would draw or discard an encounter card from your own deck, you deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card, and then you draw a card. So actually, for each of these encounter cards that we're discarding, but then go to be dealt as face-down encounter cards, we also get to draw a card. So this is actually Captain Marvel generating some card draw and generating additional damage on the sliding shot, which is really high value. And just kind of a unique Star-Lord interaction with this scenario. Star-Lord / Captain Marvel interaction with this scenario. So that's the 4 discards, and one of them is a lightning, so we do get 3 damage. Though I don't know that I remembered that. Now I'm seeing, oh yeah, I did get a lightning, so I do get to deal 3. And we'll drop Mysterio into phase 3 here. Regroup should have been off the table at the end of the last round. And there's not going to be any issue dealing 16 damage. So Mysterio discards 5 cards, which adds an additional 2 encounter cards, and draws me additional cards because the text of the scenario says when you would discard an encounter card, deal it as a face-down card and draw a card. So we got a massive hand. All the resources we need for sliding shot. Sliding shot's currently dealing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So I only actually needed resources for 1 sliding shot. In this case, Mysterio kind of killed himself by bringing in so many encounter cards. And if I couldn't kill him this round, he was probably going to kill me. And there's a lot of other heroes that would have died in this situation against Mysterio on Heroic 1. This is one of the reasons why Star-Lord is so good. He can use what would normally be a very good thing for the enemy against that enemy. And that's the case in this situation where he's capable of dealing 32 damage plus an additional 2 from his available basic power plus an additional 3 from the element gun. So he's capable of dealing, what is it, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 34, 35, 36, 37. He's capable of dealing 38 damage this round because of the way that this interaction happened with Captain Marvel with sliding shots. Very interesting. I did forget to shuffle an encounter card into the deck early in the game with the shifting apparition. I don't know if that would have made a difference or not. Also forgot to deal 2 damage to the boss with White Tiger, and just discarded her uselessly. But anyway, once again, I would say that this demonstrates the power of Star-Lord, that this demonstrates the power of this Star-Lord deck, which is the goal of this Hero Spotlight. An S plus tier hero and true solo. There is no doubt in my mind at this point. So, thank you for watching.